back to MongoVision. That's right. If you didn't know that, women really do have their own pornography. They're called romance novels. A lot of graphic stuff in there. Yes, even for a guy. Anyways, it's nothing compared to our porno, though. We're visual. And so, we like movies. Now look at that. That's quite romantic. Two guys giving a girl all they have to pleasure her. Look at that. That's really romantic. Anyways, yeah, women have their own. And it's quite, I don't know, how do you say? Boring yet exciting. A lot of words, a lot of words. Let me read you some from this wonderful book. Now, you have to be patient because there are a lot of words. But, you know, it's kind of like foreplay. You know, you gotta go through it to get your fun. Anyways, his tone was without expression. If you call me Kells again, I will pull up those skirts and thrash your lovely white bottom until it is pink as your cheeks. Oh, guys like that. Her eyes flashed silver. Oh, you would not. She cried in expiration. See, words for your women. They like the words. Exasperation. There you go. I would. Well, I shall call you Kells whenever I like, and I shall certainly call you Kells whenever we are alone. She had driven him too far. She realized it, and in a moment the words had left her mouth. Before she could move, and she was already in the act of drawing back, dismayed by the expression on his face, he pounced upon her like a big cat and swept her up against him. Ignoring the futile flailing of her beating fist against his chest, deaf to her furious screech as she kicked his shins, managing to hurt her toes in their soft slippers against the stout, hardened leather of his jackboots. He carried her up the tiled stairway, bounding 3 steps at a time with his angry, squirming burden. An angry scream came from upstairs, had come when Kells strode into the big front bedroom, sat himself down upon the bed, and turned Carolina across his knee. This devil is going to do it! He is actually going to spank me! Carolina had thought in a blind rage as she felt her overskirt, her yellow petticoat, and her cambric chemise all jerked upward in a single determined gesture that bared her white bottom to Don Diego's view. Ooh, white bottom. Bared white bottom. The next moment she felt a large hand descend with a smack upon that bottom, and she gave a cry in rage. And it did her utmost to squirm about and bite him. She was rewarded with a rough cuff that put her back in position. To the sound of a rippling of... the sound of ripping of her voile, V-O-I-L-E, whatever the hell women wear. And the large hand descended smartingly upon the reddened flesh of her soft bottom again. I am trying to make my point, he said evenly, which is that I am in command here. You will not go against my direct orders, and I order you not to call me Kells. A sob of anger caught in her throat as she found herself suddenly righted and standing upon her feet before him. Her hair was a bright, tasseled halo tumbling wildly about her, and the expression of indignation on her lovely face was almost more than he could stand. But he kept his own countenance impassive as she trembled before him. You are not Kells, she bit the words at him. You may once have been, but to me you are no longer. You, turn the page, you are not fit to lick his boots. And in blind rage, she drew back a white forearm and struck at his expressionless but determined countenance. Countenance, not countenance. He's not wearing a diaper. Oh, let's start again. Now that's better, he said smoothly and overwhelmed by his desire for her, drew her abruptly into his arms. For a moment, Carolina swayed dizzily beneath his hot pressure of his lips. Then, with a wrench that ripped the thin voile of her gown, indeed she could feel her sleeves part company from her bodice, she pulled away from him, only a small space, for his arms were still around her. She looked up at him with blazing eyes, and he could feel himself kindle to flame before her trembling fury. I do not desire you, she gasped angrily. Don Diego, she added scornfully through clenched teeth. Do you not? His dark brows shot up mockingly, and he drew her back to him with perfect aplomb. That's what it says, aplomb. A-P-L-O-M-B, aplomb. Your body tells me otherwise, wench of the devil, he told her, and he bent his head to reveal in the sweetness of her flesh, to torment the soft lobe of her ear with his lip, to trail along the white column of her throat with the tip of his tongue. Now was the moment to resist him, now, while he held her fast. But even as the thought crossed her mind, she could feel her senses reeling, for her desire for him was as keen as his for her. Sounds like true love to me, folks. Even though she had meant to remain rigid, she kept her knees locked together. She could feel her body relaxed against his with a sigh of perfect content. Feel herself borne to the bed, feel herself falling, no, dissolving, backward upon it with his long body atop her own. She did not even protest when he reached down and lazily but firmly spread her thighs apart. Indeed, Carolina was overcome with a dizzy awareness of fate overtaking her as he thrust within her. Not violently, as she might have expected, but tenderly, savoring a lover's delight. Pretty good so far, eh? She felt the remnants of her defenses melting, crumbling beneath the sweet assault on his flesh. Even through a haze of remembered anger, she could feel herself clinging to him. Against her will, a little sob formed in her throat. She thought she heard him chuckle and felt a new surge of fury that drove her to squirm and thrash about in his arms, which only completed the ruin of her sheer gown and increased her blinding, overpowering sweetness that was stealing over her as every nerve in came alert, and the world seemed a medley of confused responses to his lover's thrust. Yeah, okay. You should fight him, pealed a distant echo from that inward Carolina who still trembled in spent fury. How can I when I love him so? Wailed that other Carolina who had wept for his loss in Port Royal and who even now felt a burning terror that he might be lost to her again. The time passed, all reclaiming to a Spanish executioner. But the wars within her dimmed beneath his expert caresses. Caresses. Yes, caresses. Old caresses. The voices stilled and drifted away to be replaced by swift flashes of passion racing through her blood. Through torrents of emotion, she seemed to be rising, lifted up towards some far unreachable goal, unutterably sweet. Sweet. She could feel his grip grow stronger now as they moved to their own wild rhythm. The world was away and there was only this rushing magic winging them along with it as their bodies touched and melded, as every physical sense drove them onward, straining toward a peak of passion that seemed to glitter above them like a distant snowfield struck by the sun. She could feel his grip. Oh, I already said that. She had forgot her anger now. Forgotten her fear, she moaned against him, delighting in the hard masculinity of him. Her lips moved against him, as she murmured broken endearments, half heard, not noted. Yes, satisfying. She felt his hot breath, felt his heart felt his heart beat strongly against her own hot body, and she seemed to flame to new heights with his every thrust. Yes, every thrust. Gone for her, at least for now, was every care, every worry, every danger. As the world sped away from them as in flight to the farthest stars. No man had ever made love to her like this, with such wild, sweet, gentle fury, and she gave back to him a very essence of herself, in moaning, lost, abandoned. Lost, abandoned. She lost her abandon. It was wonderful, it was exciting, it was triumphant. It was wonderful. Oh, I already went there, yes. And it ended in a burst of glory before, still tingling and a tremble. She felt her spent body relax, and she sank down with a contented, she's not in diapers either. Ew. Down with a contented sigh from those marvelous heights that they had just achieved. She nuzzled against him, warm and safe in his love, as he lay beside her, and felt his outflung arm on which he lay tightly, briefly about her. Yes, it works, you know. Felt his free hand rove over her body with affection, stirring some soft flames, the embers of the afterglow. Oh, Kel, she murmured, still under the spell of his strong masculine appeal. I love you so, I always have. Beside her, his tall form stiffened. He put her away from him and sat up. It is Diego the Bar, in whose arms you have just lain, he reminded her sternly. The world came back to Carolina with a crash. Oh, don't be a fool, Kel, she cried despairingly. Do you think I don't know the man I'm married to? He was out of the big bed and landed on the floor on both feet with a thump. By God, there's no reasoning with you, he growled. I will find me a Spanish wench to share my bed. The door slammed behind him as he strode down the hall away from her. Wow. I'm pretty spent, all those words. Yep, that's just part of it. There's still more. I'm gonna take a little breather. Oh, yeah. And this is the mild stuff. Anyways, I'll be back in a few moments. Thank you. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? All those words. Oh, man, I'm spent. Oh, wait, I'm gonna save the next novel. Romance novel. Lots of romance in there. For the next show. It's a little more graphic. Just a little more. More heaving, I think. Anyways. Well, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time, and stay in tune to YouTube. And I shall see you in a little while. Hope you enjoy.